Good evening and a very warm welcome to this hour's English news package with radio and television Tonga news for tonight. Making headlines: 169 water tanks donated to Nuku'alofa from the government of New Zealand. Ewa Noble Representative Lord Nuku urges Internal Affairs Ministry for more effort in training local players for sports. And CEO of Revenue and Custom calls for public collaboration for accurate tax data. Now for the stories in detail. The people of Nuku'alofa are delighted to receive 169 water tanks donated as an assistance of the New Zealand government. The assistance was brought up by the Deputy Prime Minister, who is also the Metek Minister, Honourable Boasi Matailete, during deliberations on the budget estimate of the Metek Ministry for year 2022-2023.
The assistance provided by the Government of New Zealand is a request from the Government of Tonga due to the water condition in Nuku'alofa, which was not safe for consumption. The Metek Minister, Honourable Boasi says the assistance is timely, which will be faster than to wait for water purification system. With the assistance provided, houses will each receive 2 to 3 water tanks for daily use and consumption. These water tanks provided will be able to deliver for the people of Nuku'alofa, so this is a great assistance and we'd like to thank the Government of New Zealand for that. A similar project will be carried out to the people in Vava'o.
The Noble Representative of Ewa, Lord Nuku, encouraged the Sports Division of the Ministry of Internal Affairs to put more effort into training local players. During the deliberations of the Whole House Committee yesterday on Vote 17 of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Lord Nuku raised the importance of empowering the local sports so they can represent the country in different competitions overseas.
During the deliberation of the Whole House Committee yesterday on Vote 17 of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Lord Nuku raised the importance of empowering the local sports so they can represent the country in different competitions overseas. It is understood that this month the Mate Tonga will compete with New Zealand, and next month will be the Netball Oceania, and all the players are Tongan but they are from overseas. Lord Nuku says the concern is that the local sports are not well trained compared to the Tongan athletes overseas. He thanked the Tongan players overseas for the willingness to represent our nation. I'm very concerned about the development of sports in Tonga. If we look at rugby, maybe about 60% of the players are Tongans from overseas. I am fully aware that there was a bill approved to collect money for the South Pacific Games to develop local talent here in Tonga in sports, and I understand the money collected was more than 10 million ba'anga. That's why I'm concerned, because there is no development whatsoever from our local athletes. We are relying more on our Tongan athletes from overseas when we could have developed our local athletes to be able to represent us in international competitions overseas. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Honourable Tongatapu, says the government is looking into the matter and 3.2 million ba'anga has been allocated to empower the local sports. Just want to add on to that. In his recent visit to Tonga, China's foreign minister said that there needs to be better buildings for sports in Tonga. That's one of the important things we're looking at, like the Teofaiva Stadium, to be built to an international standard. So infrastructure is very important for training our local athletes so we can prepare them well for international competitions overseas, and some of these competitions can be held here in Tonga. So this is one of the things we're looking at. The Ministry of Internal Affairs hopes the COVID-19 restrictions will be eased soon so that sports program and the trainings will return back to normal.
The issue of using the cash register machines at shops have been an ongoing issue for the Revenue Ministry in the drive to ensure that shops are presenting accurate data about tax and revenue collected daily from their operation. As such, Ministry of Revenue and Customs CEO Kelemete Vahe, in a televised program, calls for public collaboration in implementing the use of cash register machines in stores. It includes consumers requesting for a receipt when they're purchasing items. The CEO of the Ministry of Revenue and Custom, Kelemete Vahe, says legal proceedings for policies for using cash register machines have completed, but the implementation of the Act will be successful through public collaboration. The implementing of the cash register machines is an initiative to help the Revenue Ministry trace and record the everyday transaction of all shops in Tonga, after confirming there's a big difference in numbers between the income report of the businesses and their profit. Since then, the Ministry of Revenue and Customs have made amendments to the law that requires businesses to use cash registers due to its effectiveness in collecting reliable and accurate data on tax. As such, the Legal Counsel of the Revenue Division of the Ministry, Lupe Atiolahui, says from now on, businesses who will not comply with the law of having a cash register will be penalized of up to 5,000 pa'anga. The Whole House Committee approved Vote 19 of the Appropriation Bill 2022 of the Ministry of Infrastructure yesterday. The budget estimate of the Ministry of Infrastructure of the Budget Estimate 2022-2023 is worth 67.1 million pa'anga, which increased by 27.5 million pa'anga from the last budget.
During deliberations in Parliament yesterday, the Minister of Infrastructure, Honourable 17 Tomo'ua, says the reason why the budget estimate of the ministry increased is because of the many different projects on the transportation sector, including the Whangaota Bridge from Folaha to Umusi and the reconstruction of Quintsalote Wharf and other projects. Tomo'ua adds the government is still continuing the recovery, rebuilding, reconstruction of houses damaged from the devastation in January, including Moimoi, Mango, Nomuka, Atata and Lulunga. The houses damaged is more than 100 houses. People in Mango will relocate to Ewa, and we are finalizing the work for these houses in Ewa, which is in Hango. Those from Nomuka will stay in Nomuka. We're still waiting for the final say from His Royal Highness. For Fonoi, there will be 18 new houses built there, along with a community hall. There will be 23 houses built in Lulunga and 8 in Pangai. There were 468 houses that were damaged from the tsunami in Tongatapu only, and 286 houses will be rebuilt, and 182 houses will be built under the maintenance project of the Ministry of Infrastructure.
And with squid fishing used in overseas countries, it is the first time to be used here as a fishing method in Tonga. And the idea had been reviewed in the past to help out with fishing for snapper in the deep waters. And the idea for another method of fishing added to the fishing of snapper is due to the recent findings that snapper is beginning to decrease in the deep waters. Snapper is one of the excellent source of income for those living by the coastal areas and even generates good income into the economy by being exported overseas. And the acting CEO of the Ministry, Dr. Siola Amalimali, says they've worked collaboratively with FBC and NIWA of New Zealand and confirmed that squid is found in our waters. And this is a new method of fishing. We're still trying to promote it because it's very new to us. We know this is found in our waters and we can sell it to get money, but that will depend if people would want to have it for their meals. Meanwhile, at least 30 people have been licensed for fishing of squid, which is an average of 10 to 15 fishing boats, with 6 boats having had fished for squid. Squid is said to be a popular pie in the market. Bye for now, Paula for Radio and Television Tonga News. That wraps up this evening's English news package, but before we part, let's have one final look at today's top stories. 169 water tanks donated to Nuku'alofa from the government of New Zealand. Ewa Noble representative urges Internal Affairs Ministry for more effort in training local players for sports. And CEO of Revenue and Custom calls for public collaboration for accurate tax data. That's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm bye for now, Paula. Have a pleasant evening.